Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. An absolutely huge question in today's video that I'm going to jump into immediately as there's lots to talk about. Because after my recent video with a similar title was published, I was literally bombarded with comments claiming that the biggest danger in Taiwan is those noisy neighbors of ours over the Taiwan Strait, which, as I've kind of implied in the title of this video, isn't as much about the dangerous parts of life here in Taiwan, but rather the dangers posed to us from outside this beautiful country. Therefore, as I received dozens of comments mentioning how Taiwan is in imminent danger from China, I decided to bring the desk out to this rather fitting location and give you some facts along with my opinion on the whole affair. So it's time to let the rabbit see the carrot and get talking about it. Now, of course, after 11 years of living here, I am fully aware of the situation, the sensitivity of it, and have a somewhat average but up-to-date general knowledge of the whole affair. But after reading the comments on my previous video, it prompted me to do some more detailed research and look into the circumstances and real facts of what is currently going on in what are often referred to as the cross-strait relations between the two countries and make a decision for myself as to whether or not Taiwan is in danger. Now, for anybody that has no idea what I'm talking about, the very basics of the circumstances we are in is that China claim Taiwan is not a country, but rather it's a breakaway province that will one day be reunited to the mainland. But most people that do have any idea about the situation, well, we know that's garbage, and Taiwan is, for all intents and purposes, its own de facto country. There will just never be a Chinese president that will admit this fact and let Taiwan gain independence under his or her tenure. No China president wants to be the one that lost Taiwan. Therefore, this whole charade will probably go on for the foreseeable future. But there is the possibility or danger, as I stated in the title, that China will use military force to take Taiwan back into its fold. And China's president was quoted earlier this year as saying, "We make no promise to renounce the use of force and reserve the option of taking all necessary means," when he was questioned earlier this year on the topic of the reunification of Taiwan. Strong words, really scary for anybody living on the island, right? Well, no, not really. You may think that a country of 23 million people being threatened by 1.3 billion noisy neighbors would just sit down and surrender, or at least shake in our boots with fear. Well, I think the 7 million people of Hong Kong, who are also being bullied by China at the moment, would beg to differ and successfully prove that's not the case. I personally feel absolutely no danger at all from China, and the more I read into the history and points of the situation, the safer and less threatened I actually feel from their apparently imminent danger. So, what is the history of invasions or fighting between the two countries? Well, this park in which I'm presenting the video from today commemorates one of the historic battles between the two countries that began on August 23rd, 1958, a battle that lasted 4 weeks and killed 440 Taiwanese troops. The battle began when the PLA of China started shelling military positions on the Taiwanese islands of Matsu and Jinmen, an action that resulted in America sending battleships and fighter jets to Taiwan's aid, and eventually leading to the PLA declaring a ceasefire and the status quo that we have in place today. There are, of course, lots of details regarding this cross-strait crisis, and it was in fact the second of 3 similar military events, the first of which was in 1954, and the third which happened as recently as 1996. But the reason I mention it is that yes, it demonstrates China's willingness, and some might say arrogance, in being ready to start a war. But when we consider how easily the USA stepped into each of these three smaller skirmishes, with Presidents Eisenhower and Clinton both sending military support as soon as Taiwan requested it, China would be absolutely mad to launch a bigger invasion or attack on Taiwan, especially knowing the fact that the current President of America, Trump, has his big fat orange finger on that big fat red nuclear button, and from all accounts, he isn't the best of friends with Xi Jinping as it is. He might be looking for an excuse to start a fight with China, and an invasion of Taiwan would definitely give him the justification to do just that. So, is it completely impossible that we will face some kind of attack or invasion in the future? Well, no, never say never, as the old saying goes. And during my research of this video, I came across a very well-written article in the Financial Times from January of this year that claims America's Defense Intelligence Agency, they conduct an annual report into China's military power, and the DIA concluded that over the past 2 decades, China has rapidly modernized its military, both in weapons and in command structure, meaning that they now have a much more brazen or less cautious approach to warfare with any of its enemies, Taiwan included. But in the same article, it also claims that military analysts within China's PLA have long held the belief that it would be extremely hard, if not impossible, to make an amphibious landing on Taiwan, complete an invasion, and then permanently occupy the country. There are reports and rumors of 1,000 to 2,000 short-range missiles being permanently pointed at Taiwan from the coast of China. But I've never actually seen any pictures of these missiles, and of course, even if they do exist, it's possible they are pointed at these previously mentioned, previously attacked military installations on outlying islands. My personal feeling is that, as happened before with these 3 cross-strait crises, any military action that comes from China to Taiwan will only ever be limited to Taiwan's outlying islands and military targets there. And that will be more as a way of trying to show who's boss, China showing the world who's boss, and just to prevent Taiwan from embarrassing China by formally standing up and claiming full independence. After all, that's the thing that China claim has only stopped an invasion in the past. They say that if Taiwan make any formal claim to being an independent country, then that's when they will try and reclaim our beautiful little country by any means necessary. So, as is usual for one of my videos, I'll try to end it by answering the title question as directly as possible. Are we in danger from China? Nah, don't think so. And for all of the people who are going to pipe up in the comments section asking me if I would be prepared to fight if China do show up here, well, if that ever happens, then yeah. I don't know how much use I'll be at my age and in my current physical shape, but Taiwan has done so much for me and my family over the majority of my adult life that if some big bully comes here trying to take away our freedom, then I'd be prepared to stand with the Taiwanese people in doing what we can to keep the democracy and the freedom of speech we are all so proud of. And talking of the comments section, I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a ding-dong, a lot of fighting down there, but please try to keep it above the belt. I know I'm a stupid bipedal, but try to avoid insulting me personally on my weight, as it really hurts. And if you have anything positive to say, then feel free to add a comment to balance out all of the shit that's going to come from those umals. I'd love to get people's opinion on the topic, and I think that's all I'm going to say on the matter for now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and give my bell a little ring. And as always, I'll see you next time in my life in Taiwan. Peace.